Have you ever noticed how kindness can cut deeper than cruelty? You offer your hand only to watch it slapped away. You stay late to help. You listen when no one else will. Yet somehow your presence stirs resentment instead of gratitude. It feels almost unfair, like light being punished for shining too brightly. The Stoics warned us of this paradox long ago. Kindness, when it is genuine, is more than a gesture. It is a mirror. And when that mirror reflects the truth of another person's envy, insecurity, or unhealed wounds, they may not thank you for it. They may despise you for showing them what they cannot face within themselves. To them, your compassion isn't comfort, it is confrontation. But here lies the deeper lesson. Their hatred is not a judgment of your worth. It is a confession of their struggle. And if you understand this, you will no longer carry their burden as your own. Stay with me, because what follows will change the way you see kindness and perhaps the way you see yourself. As we step into the first chapter, imagine standing in front of someone who cannot look you in the eye. You offer kindness, but what they see in you is not comfort. It is a mirror. Your gentleness reflects back to them the parts they spend their whole lives trying to bury, their flaws, their regrets, their failures, their cruelty. What you awaken in them is not gratitude, it is unrest. The Stoics knew this tension well. They spoke of the inner war each person carries, the hidden impulses and weaknesses we would rather not face. Marcus Aurelius confessed in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To him, even our darkest corners can become pathways to growth if faced with honesty. But here lies the truth. Most would rather cling to their pain than confront it. And so when your presence silently points to the possibility of change, they resist you. Picture a dim room, light enters, and those who lived in the dark recoil, curse, even shield their eyes. Your kindness feels like an accusation. You could be more than this. You could live differently. For a heart not ready, that is unbearable. I once knew a man who lashed out at every gentle act. If you forgave him, he called you weak. If you offered patience, he mocked you as foolish. What tormented him was not the act itself, but the silent question it carried. Why do you choose bitterness while others choose peace? That question was too heavy. So he tore down the one who asked it without words. This is the paradox of kindness. The more genuine you are, the more you expose the falsehood in others. To someone still chained to their masks, your authenticity feels like fire. And to protect their identity, they will fight to smother that fire. Epictetus warned his students, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." The world is not kind to those who walk sincerely. The crowd does not easily forgive those who choose honesty over performance. When you are kind, you are not only offering love, you are reminding others of what they have denied in themselves. And here is where the battle begins. Their balance feels threatened. Instead of seeing you as a friend, they see you as a danger. To restore their sense of control, they must tear you down, invent stories about your motives, convince themselves you are fake, manipulative, calculating. They need to, because if they didn't, they would have to face their own shadow. I remember hearing Seneca's words, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Many crave to appear strong, even righteous, but are too afraid to be so in truth. When they encounter someone who is quietly strong, their illusion shatters, and illusions, once cracked, fight to defend themselves. And here lies the sharp truth. The kinder you are, the sharper the blade you unknowingly hold. Each act of patience drives the contrast deeper. Each act of compassion exposes the hollowness of their cynicism. So they will not merely resist you, they will brand you, distort you, declare you dangerous. But don't let this twist you. Their anger is not proof of your failure. It is proof of your impact. They are not truly angry at your kindness. They are angry at their own lack of it. And in their desperation, they project that anger onto you as though destroying the mirror could erase the reflection. Now imagine this scene more clearly. You sit in calm silence while someone red-faced and trembling calls you naive. Who is truly weak in that moment? The one who remains steady, or the one who must shout to silence the voice of their own conscience? Strength is not in the noise, it is in the stillness. The Stoics urged us to practice this stillness, to remain authentic not for applause but because virtue demands it, to embody kindness not as a performance but as the natural state of a disciplined mind. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, when you wake up, ask yourself, what will I face today? Rudeness, ingratitude, arrogance, deceit. And then he resolved, none of these would corrupt him. So let this be your anchor. When others recoil at your kindness, remember it is their battle, not yours. Their mask is slipping, their shadow revealed. Your task is not to carry their discomfort, but to remain whole. Because at the heart of Stoicism is this truth. You are not here to make others comfortable. You are here to live in accordance with nature, to act with virtue regardless of applause or insult. And when you do, you embody a rare kind of freedom. The freedom to be kind without apology, to be strong without cruelty, to be authentic without fear. Hold this close. Their irritation is a lesson, not a verdict. It teaches you where their wounds lie. It shows you what they cannot face. But it does not define you. Your kindness remains yours, unshaken, untouched. And as we close this chapter, another question rises. If your kindness unsettles those who hide behind masks, what happens when you stand face to face with the mask itself? The persona that society demands, the performance people cling to. That is where the next revelation begins. Moving into the second chapter, imagine a mirror so clear it strips away every mask. You stand in front of it with no pretenses, no costumes, nothing but the truth of who you are. That is what authenticity feels like. And for many, it is unbearable. When you live sincerely, when your words and actions align, it makes others feel the hollowness of their performance. They cannot admit this to themselves. It is too heavy a truth. So they turn the weight outward. They make you the problem. They will strike not at your flaws, but at your strengths. Your kindness becomes weakness. Your patience becomes stupidity. Your compassion becomes naivety. Why? Because to acknowledge your strength would mean facing their own lack of it. To honor your patience would force them to admit their impulsiveness. To recognize your compassion would expose their indifference. The Stoics saw this clearly. Seneca once wrote, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about things." Their judgment of you is not about you. It is the shadow of their own unrest. I knew a woman who carried herself with calm dignity, even in the face of constant mockery at her workplace. When colleagues dismissed her kindness as weakness, she did not flinch. She understood a deeper truth. They were not scorning her. They were scorning the courage they lacked. Their attacks were mirrors of their own insecurity. And because she grasped this, she stayed steady. And in time, her quiet strength silenced them. Here's where the paradox sharpens. Your awakened presence, your decision to live with integrity, becomes a threat to those who still sleepwalk through life. They move with the crowd, repeat the patterns, play the roles society has assigned them. They do not question, they do not reflect. They call this being realistic, but it is nothing more than unconscious repetition. You, by contrast, choose to live awake. You practice patience in a world addicted to speed. You choose gentleness in a culture that glorifies aggression. You question your own impulses instead of surrendering to them. This is not naivety, it is mastery. Marcus Aurelius said, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look there." To live this way is to refuse the mask and walk in your own skin. But here's the danger. The more you rise, the more you expose their stagnation. Your growth highlights their stillness. Your self-mastery reveals their lack of it. And rather than be inspired, many will attempt to pull you back to their level. They will poke at old wounds, trying to awaken the version of you they are comfortable with. They will push the buttons that once controlled you, hoping to remind you of the smaller self you left behind. Do not be surprised when this happens. Epictetus warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The world prefers you asleep, compliant, easy to manage. To step out of that script is to invite resistance. Your maturity threatens their comfort. Your healing disrupts their illusion. I remember the season when I began choosing silence over arguments. Friends who once thrived on chaos mocked me. "You've gone soft," they said. But inside, I knew I had not grown weaker. I had grown freer. Their ridicule was simply proof that I had stepped off their stage. I was no longer willing to play the part they had written for me. Here is the turning point. Understand that their resistance is not an indictment of your path, it is evidence of it. The Stoics did not pursue peace to be applauded. They pursued peace because it was right, and in doing so, they often stood alone. To live awake in a world that dreams is to carry both clarity and solitude. So when your presence unsettles others, when your light feels like a provocation, hold steady. Their struggle is their own. Your task is not to dim yourself, but to remain aligned. And this realization leads us into a harder question. What happens when your refusal to follow the crowd brings you face to face with the weight of the crowd itself? This is where the Stoics offer their sternest warning about the pull of the collective and the courage it takes to resist it. Advancing to the third chapter, imagine standing in a crowded square where the noise of the crowd drowns out the voice of reason. You extend a hand of kindness, but instead of being welcomed, you feel eyes narrow, whispers rise, and the crowd begins to turn against you. Not because of what you did, but because of what you represent. The Stoics warned us about this. To live with virtue in a world built on vice is to become a disruption. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He knew that by living differently, he would always stir resistance. When you choose kindness in a world that rewards cruelty, you are not simply living well. You are threatening the entire order of the group. Here's where it gets deeper. Groups, unlike individuals, need scapegoats. They cannot face their own guilt. So they project it onto someone who stands apart. Cito. Your kindness, your refusal to play by the cruel rules, makes you the perfect target. They will unload their shame, their resentment, their bitterness upon you. It is easier to call you the problem than to admit the system itself is broken. I once witnessed this in a workplace. A man who never joined in the gossip, who treated everyone, junior or senior, with respect, became the object of endless mockery. He's fake, they said. He's weak. But in truth, he was neither. He was simply unwilling to bow to the culture of cruelty. His calm integrity became a mirror for their smallness, and instead of rising with him, they united against him. Seneca said, "It is the part of a wise man to resist pleasures, but of a foolish man to be a slave to them." In the same way, it is the part of a wise man to resist cruelty, even when the crowd calls cruelty strength. But this wisdom carries a cost. To walk against the crowd is to be branded, sometimes even hated. Now imagine this. Your growth, your maturity, your conscious way of living shines a light that exposes the sleepwalking of those around you. They are chained by old patterns, content to follow without question. You, by simply being awake, remind them of their chains. And instead of thanking you for the reminder, they despise you for it. Here is the paradox. The more you heal, the more you unsettle those who have not begun their healing. The more you refuse to play the cruel games, the more they need you to be punished. This is why entire groups can unite against a single person who has done nothing but remain authentic. Your presence says to them, there is another way, and for those who have built their identity on the old way, that is intolerable. But the Stoics give us a sharp distinction. Not all kindness is true kindness. Sometimes what we call kindness is nothing more than performance. Epictetus warned against this when he said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. If your kindness is an act to win approval, it will smell of manipulation and people will sense it. If you are kind only to be liked, it is not virtue. It is bargaining. And such false kindness breeds more contempt than cruelty ever could." I have seen this too. A man who helped everyone, not out of generosity, but out of fear of being disliked. His yes was never grounded in strength, only in the terror of rejection. And soon those around him grew impatient. They sensed the hollowness behind his smile. They did not admire him. They resented him because even without knowing why, they felt the manipulation beneath his so-called kindness. Here lies the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes people hate your kindness because it is not authentic. True kindness is not a mask. It is an expression of strength. It sets boundaries. It does not beg for love. It does not sell itself for validation. The Stoics would say that virtue needs no applause. It is its own reward. So how do you know the difference? Look within. If your kindness drains you, if it leaves you resentful, if it is laced with expectation, then it is not kindness. It is a bargain in disguise. But if your kindness flows from a steady place, if it respects yourself as much as others, if it asks for nothing in return, then it is strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. To live kindly, authentically, without pretense is to embody that privilege." But it also means being prepared for rejection, because some will never see your kindness as kindness. They will see it as threat, as weakness, as manipulation, because their own hearts are clouded. The lesson then is not to abandon kindness, but to purify it, strip it of performance, anchor it in boundaries. Let it be steady, unshaken, free. Because kindness born of weakness will always breed contempt. But kindness born of strength will stand unbroken, even in the face of hatred. And this brings us to the edge of the deepest question. If you live with authentic kindness, even when the crowd resists you, even when they project their wounds upon you, will you still stand firm? This is where the Stoic path reveals its most demanding, yet most liberating truth. Entering the 4th chapter, picture yourself walking through a storm of accusations and cold stars. You know in your heart that you have offered nothing but goodwill. Yet what returns feels like hostility. The instinct is to take it personally, to wonder what you did wrong. But here is the first truth you must hold on to. Their hatred is not about you. It is about them. It is about wounds they refuse to face, shadows they cannot accept, fears they will not name. Now imagine this. Someone throws their anger at you like stones. But when you look closely, you see the stones are carved with their own names. Every word of scorn is not a description of your nature. It is a confession of theirs. Epictetus taught, when someone provokes you, remember that it is your own opinion that has provoked you. Their rage is the echo of their judgment, not your worth. From here, the Stoic path demands a shift in you. You can still be kind, but you must be kind from strength, not weakness. A weak kindness begs for recognition, bends under pressure, and bleeds when misunderstood. A strong kindness stands tall. It expects nothing. It flows like a river that does not stop to ask the rocks for permission to move forward. But here's where the test sharpens. You must look not only outward, but inward. Ask yourself, why am I being kind? Is it because this is who I truly am? Or is it because I secretly hunger for praise, for validation, for the comforting label of the good one? Marcus Aurelius warned himself, do not act as if you are going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. To be good does not mean to be seen as good. It means to live aligned with virtue regardless of applause. I remember a time when I caught myself smiling through disrespect, calling it patience. Deep down, it wasn't patience. It was fear, the fear of losing approval. I was not practicing kindness. I was performing it. And performance always exhausts the soul because it is a bargain dressed up as virtue. The Stoics would call this self-deception, the most dangerous kind of dishonesty. Here's where the lesson becomes fire. True kindness cannot exist without boundaries. Without them, what you call kindness becomes codependence. You are not helping, you are enabling. You are not showing compassion. You are carrying weight that was never yours to hold. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Freedom and kindness comes from courage. The courage to say yes when it is right, and the courage to say no when it is necessary. Consider this story. A friend always leaned on me for comfort, never once facing his own chaos. I told myself I was being kind by always answering the call, by always listening, by always carrying his burdens. But the truth was simpler. I was afraid to draw the line. The day I finally said, "I care for you, but I cannot save you," something changed. He was forced to stand on his own feet, and I was free from the chains of false kindness. That boundary was not cruelty. It was the most honest kindness I had ever given. At this stage, you must see the contrast. Healthy people welcome kindness because it resonates with their own growth. Unhealthy people despise it because it exposes their stagnation. A heart at peace will honor your compassion. A restless soul will see it as an insult. But when you have boundaries, their projections cannot stick. You are no longer a blank wall for their shadows. You are a fortress with open gates, letting in what is good and keeping out what is destructive. This is the art of differentiation, to remain yourself while allowing others to remain themselves. You do not absorb their emotions. You do not mistake their wounds for your responsibility. You do not play savior, nor do you accept the role of victim. You walk your path and let them walk theirs. When you live this way, kindness transforms. It ceases to be performance. It ceases to be weakness. It becomes strength clothed in gentleness. People feel it. They cannot twist it because it does not beg for recognition. It does not seek to control. It simply is. And still there is a deeper layer. One of the most dangerous traps of the human mind is the rescuer's illusion. The belief that by saving others, you can prove your worth. The Stoics warned us, what you cannot control, you must not cling to. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Stop trying to be the hero in everyone's story. You are only responsible for your actions, your integrity, your alignment with virtue, nothing more. So let this be the sword you carry. If your kindness is rooted in truth, it cannot be corrupted by projection. If it flows from strength, no accusation can taint it. And if it is guarded by boundaries, it becomes unshakable. Here is where we stand now. Their hatred may continue, but it no longer defines you. Their projections may rise, but they no longer stick. You have seen the difference between weak kindness and strong kindness, and you know which one leads to freedom. As we close this chapter, let me ask you, what kind of kindness do you wish to carry into the world? Comment with the word strength. If you choose to practice kindness that does not bow but stands. And remember, subscribe if you wish to keep walking this path of clarity and Stoic wisdom together. Because the journey does not end here. The next step will take us into the heart of the most destructive illusion of all, the cycle of victim and rescuer, and how to break it once and for all. At this stage, imagine standing calmly while arrows of resentment fly in your direction. They are sharp, but when you pick one up, you see it is carved from someone else's fear. Their hatred of your kindness is never truly about you. It is the war they are fighting with themselves, their unhealed wounds, their unacknowledged shadows, their unmet fears. Here's where the Stoic lens clears the fog. Epictetus reminded his students, remember, it is not he who reviles you or strikes you who insults you, but your opinion about these things. When others spit venom at your kindness, it is their opinion of themselves echoing back, not a definition of you. Once you understand this, you are free. Free to choose your response. Free to remain kind, but with strength instead of weakness. From here, the harder work begins, the work not of judging others, but of examining yourself. Why are you kind? Do you give freely because it is your nature? Or do you secretly expect something in return? Praise, acceptance, approval. Seneca warned, he who seeks friendship for advantage will lose it. In the same way, he who gives kindness for validation will watch it rot. Authentic kindness is born from alignment, not appetite. I once found myself smiling through gritted teeth, listening endlessly to someone's complaints. I told myself I was patient. In truth, I was desperate to be seen as the good one. That was not kindness. It was self-betrayal. The Stoics would call this misusing virtue, turning it into performance. And performance is exhausting because it chains you to the audience. Even irritation can serve as a teacher if you read it rightly. If someone's disrespect burns you inside, ask, is this burn pointing to a boundary you have not drawn? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Boundaries are not walls against love. They are guards of dignity. Without them, what we call kindness becomes slavery. Think of the parent who never says no, believing it to be loving. In truth, the child grows spoiled. The parent grows resentful, and love rots under the weight of enabling. So too with us. When you are kind without limits, you invite others to unload their shadows upon you. You become not a giver, but a dumping ground. That is not kindness. That is codependence. But here's the shift that changes everything. With strong boundaries, kindness becomes unshakable. You can show compassion without swallowing another's poison. You can listen without becoming their echo. You can stand beside them without carrying their load. This is the Stoic practice, a differentiation to remain yourself while allowing others to remain themselves. You do not bleed into their chaos. You do not dissolve into their demands. You are steady like a pillar in the storm. I remember a woman who was always ready to help, always eager to soothe, but she never knew how to say no. In time, people stopped respecting her. They leaned on her, drained her, then blamed her when their lives stayed broken. One day, she decided differently. She began saying calmly, "I cannot take that on." At first, people raged, but slowly respect returned. Her kindness had not disappeared. It had gained a backbone. When you are kind from a place of strength, people sense it. They cannot project their inadequacy onto you because you are not trying to prove anything. You are not playing savior. You are not playing martyr. You are simply living in alignment. And alignment cannot be manipulated. This is where Stoicism cuts deepest. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Many live trapped in the victim-rescuer dynamic. Some people need someone to save so they can feel noble. Others need someone to blame so they can feel innocent. Both are illusions. Both keep us enslaved. The Stoic breaks the cycle by owning only what is his to own: his actions, his choices, his discipline. So let this truth pierce through. Your task is not to fix others. Your task is not to be endlessly good in the eyes of the crowd. Your task is to live with virtue, to give when it is right, to refuse when it is wise, to stand steady when storms rise. The next time someone resents your kindness, pause. Ask yourself, is my kindness authentic or is it performance? Is it grounded in strength or driven by fear? Then act from clarity, not compulsion, because only then can kindness be what it was always meant to be. Not a mask, not a trap, but freedom clothed in gentleness. And here lies the doorway to the next revelation. If you can step out of the rescuer's game and stand firm in your own strength, then every shadow cast upon you loses its power. The question is, are you ready to break that cycle? Advancing to the 6th chapter, imagine carrying water in a world of thirst. You offer it freely without keeping score. And instead of gratitude, you are met with suspicion. That is the strange burden of consistent kindness. It reveals that you have something many do not. Emotional wealth. You are able to give without asking, to care without bargaining. And for those who feel empty inside, this is unbearable. Here is where envy creeps in. Not the envy that quietly admires and aspires, but the envy that corrodes. When your kindness reminds others of what they lack, they do not think, "I wish I could love as freely as that." They think, "I must prove that this love is false." Envy does not just want what you have, it wants to destroy what you have, so it no longer needs to feel its own poverty. The Stoics warned us of this tendency. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." For the envious, your kindness itself becomes their adversity. It irritates them, pricks them, forces them to feel a gap between who they are and who they could be. Rather than endure that pain and grow, they strike out at you, hoping to reduce you to their level. So they test you, they push your limits with unreasonable demands. They create traps where you must finally say no. And when you set that boundary, they smile with bitter satisfaction. See, your kindness was never real. They twist your integrity into proof of hypocrisy because it allows them to rest easy in their cynicism. I once saw this play out with a colleague who always went the extra mile. His generosity became the subject of constant challenges. People piled work on him just to watch when he would crack. And the day he finally refused, they called him selfish. But those who watched with clear eyes knew the truth. His refusal did not expose weakness. It revealed his strength. Here is the Stoic lesson. What people project onto you is theirs, not yours. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When another blames you or hates you, or when men voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of men they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you. Their envy is not about you, it is about their wounds. But the danger remains. Envy is not passive. It does not only whisper, it seeks to tarnish. It looks for ways to drag you down, to rob you of the very freedom they cannot find. That is why you must hold your kindness with firmness. Be generous, but not naive. Be compassionate, but not gullible. Be open, but never without discernment. Because in the end, envy cannot truly take from you. It can only tempt you to surrender what was already yours. Your peace, your authenticity, your power to give without fear. Hold fast to these, and you remain untouchable. And this leads to the next revelation. If envy feeds on projection, then the only way forward is to see clearly whose weight you are carrying and to finally put down what was never yours to hold. Now imagine showing kindness to someone shaped only by cruelty and watching suspicion harden in their eyes. To them, kindness cannot be real. Their minds have been trained by their own past. Betrayal, neglect, manipulation. They cannot accept that generosity could exist without strings attached. So they project their own motives onto you. If they would only be kind to gain control, then surely that must be your hidden aim as well. Here's where the cycle turns dark. They begin to dig into you, searching for proof that your compassion is a mask. Every smile is analyzed, every gesture dissected. A compliment becomes manipulation. Help becomes control. Understanding becomes condescension. They weave conspiracy out of air, convinced that no one could be genuine. And the more you defend your sincerity, the more they grow suspicious. In their logic, innocence does not need to speak. So your defense becomes, in their eyes, proof of guilt. The Stoics warned us of such traps. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." To live with virtue is to accept that some will misjudge you. To insist endlessly on proving yourself only chains you to their distortions. Your task is not to convince them of your purity. Your task is to remain steady in your own nature. But here the wound runs deeper. Some people have built their entire identity around being the injured one, the abandoned one, the mistreated one. Their pain has become their crown and their shield. To heal would mean to surrender the very story that gives their life meaning. And so when you offer them kindness, you are not offering comfort. You are offering a threat. Your compassion whispers, "You can be free of this," but freedom terrifies them. To keep their identity intact, they must reject you. I once knew someone who carried this burden. Every act of care I offered was twisted into proof that I would eventually leave. And when I finally stepped back, they held up my absence as confirmation. See, everyone always abandons me. Their suffering had become self-sustaining. What they craved was not healing, but the safety of familiar wounds. Seneca captured this paradox when he wrote, "Most men, when they are avoided, complain, but when they are sought after, they scorn." Some hearts are so accustomed to their prison that they slam the door on anyone who dares open it. Their rejection is not about your failure, it is about their fear of growth. Here lies the cruelest twist. The ones who need kindness the most are often the ones who spit it out most violently. They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting the possibility that they could change, and so they must cast you as the villain. They need you to be the betrayer, the manipulator, the naive fool, so that their story remains intact. In this way, they maintain their prison. But the storm doesn't end there. When you remain steady, when you keep choosing patience over anger, understanding over judgment, you reveal a quiet kind of strength. This strength unsettles them even more. They feel smaller beside it. They cannot reach your level of calm. So they try to drag you down. They label you naive, too nice, weak. This is not an attack on your virtue. It is a desperate attempt to reframe the picture so they can look taller. Marcus Aurelius warned of this dynamic. If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake, or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I will gladly change. It is the truth I'm after. But most do not seek truth. They seek to feel superior, even if it means clinging to cruelty. To them, being cruel and smart feels safer than being kind and naive. So here is the liberation the Stoics offer. Stop defending what does not need defense. Virtue stands on its own legs. Compassion rooted in strength cannot be tarnished by accusation. Patience chosen freely cannot be turned into weakness by insult. You do not need to justify light to those who insist on darkness. And this leads us to the deeper freedom. The world will always contain those who twist kindness into weakness, who wear wounds as armor, who fear healing more than pain. But their struggle is not yours to carry. Your role is to live as the Stoics lived, with discipline, with clarity, with strength dressed in gentleness. Because in the end, their rejection does not diminish your power. It only proves it. And the question that remains is this: when kindness is turned against you, will you still stand in it, or will you surrender it to the crowd? That decision is the line between being chained to their shadows and walking free in your own light. From here, let us step into the 8th chapter, where kindness itself becomes a mirror that no one can easily ignore. Imagine standing in a room full of people wearing masks, some smiling, some stern, some indifferent, and then you, without even trying, take off yours. Suddenly the air changes because your authenticity exposes the performance of everyone else. The Stoics understood how unsettling this can be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth." But most do not seek truth. They seek comfort in their roles, their disguises, their practiced identities. When you show up with genuine kindness, with no angle, no calculation, no mask, you act like a truth detector. You reveal who around you is still pretending. And for those who have built their whole lives on pretense, your authenticity is unbearable. Now imagine a man who has manipulated his way through every relationship, offering charm when he needs approval, cruelty when he needs control. When he meets someone whose kindness is unshakably real, his mind cannot compute it. He assumes it must be performance because that is all he knows. To him, kindness is never free, it must be bait. And so he chooses the easier path. He convinces himself that your kindness is false. Here is where dissonance is born. When the mind cannot reconcile the existence of something pure with its own corrupted worldview, it must choose. Either the worldview breaks, or you must be branded a fraud. And most will choose to protect their worldview. No matter how small, no matter how twisted, your light threatens their architecture. So they choose to hate the light. But the Stoics give us a way through this confusion. Epictetus taught, when someone shows anger toward you, remember it is not he who angers you, but your judgment about him. In the same way, their hatred of your kindness is not a judgment of you. It is the echo of their inner conflict. The wise learn not to absorb this echo. This is where emotional sobriety becomes the discipline of the strong. Just as a man who has once been addicted to wine must learn to remain sober in the presence of it, so too must we remain sober in the presence of manipulation. To be emotionally sober means to see clearly when someone is projecting their wounds onto your kindness. It is to recognize their arrows as theirs, not yours. I recall a woman who worked tirelessly to help her brother, who despised her for it. Every gesture of support was twisted into control. Every act of care called weakness. She nearly broke under the weight of defending herself until one day she stopped. She realized the truth. It was not about her. His accusations were mirrors of his own shame. From that day, she remained kind, but she stopped bleeding for him. She practiced conscious compassion, seeing his pain without making it her own. And here lies the crucial insight. Society of the heart does not mean becoming borrowed or distant. It does not mean abandoning kindness. It means being kind without being naive, compassionate without being consumed. It means you can see someone suffering without becoming a victim of it. You can understand their projections without accepting them. You can carry your nature into the world without letting it be rewritten by another's bitterness. Seneca reminded us we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When you are sober in spirit, their hatred ceases to wound you. It becomes information, not injury. It tells you about their inner world, not your worth. And that knowledge protects you. You no longer become cruel in response to cruelty. You no longer become a doormat to avoid being misunderstood. You remain balanced. At this stage, another lesson unfolds. What you choose to become determines how your kindness is received. Marcus Aurelius urged, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. People do not truly hate kindness. They hate what kindness represents. A threat to their ego, a challenge to their mask, a reminder of their wounds. Your task is not to make your kindness easy for them to swallow. Your task is to keep your kindness genuine, boundaried, and strong. Think of it like fire. A weak fire begs to be sheltered from every wind. A strong fire adapts, leans, steadies, and continues to burn. It gives warmth to those who draw near in humility, and it warns off those who approach with contempt. The same flame that threatens one man will save another. The flame is the same. The difference lies in the hearts of those who come close, and so the choice returns to you. You can continue being kind while protecting yourself from projections. You can live authentically while setting firm boundaries. You can be expressive without being exposed. This is what it means to individuate in the Stoic sense, to become wholly yourself regardless of the crowd's reaction. Because here is the path to freedom. When you see clearly that their hatred of your kindness is not about you, you are free to respond with steadiness. You can be kind without being a victim. You can be authentic without being a target. And in the end, the goal was never to be liked by everyone. The goal is to be true to yourself and to walk alongside those who can honor that truth. And from here, another question arises. If kindness rooted in authenticity is both a threat and a gift, then the next step is this. How do you carry that flame into a world determined to snuff it out, yet desperate for its light? That is where the journey leads next. And that is the true art of kindness in a world that often misunderstands it. You do not need to shrink or change who you are. You simply become more of yourself with clearer intentions and stronger boundaries. Those who resist your kindness are not enemies. They are mirrors showing you where to stand firmer and love yourself deeper. When you can be kind without begging for appreciation, helpful without chasing gratitude, and understanding without needing validation, you step into freedom. You are no longer tied to their projections. You are steady, authentic, and unshakable. If these words resonated with you, let me know in the comments with the phrase true kindness. And if you wish to keep walking this path together, remember to subscribe so you never miss the next reflection. Stay strong, stay kind, and I will see you in the next journey of wisdom.